Hello everyone, my name is Mystic and today I'm here to share with you a review on Dead by Daylight. I have spent 839 hours as of this video playing Dead by Daylight, and that's why I'm making a review on my thoughts and opinions of this game. I hope that you enjoy what I'm about to say, and I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Let's begin. For those who may be new, Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical survivor horror game centered around either being a killer or survivor. These two roles play a crucial part in the game, almost like a game of cat and mouse, if you will. The killer focuses on downing a survivor, then hooks the survivor until they die. One twist that the game adds is that the killer has a different power which can be used to their advantage. Each is very creative and different in what they do. The Huntress, for example, stores hatchets, which can then be thrown at a survivor. The Trapper sets traps that survivors can step in. The Spirit, which by the way is my favorite killer, leaves behind her body and sends out her spirit to surprise survivors or trick them into their demise. These are only some of the killers, as you can see here. The survivors, on the other hand, are tasked with completing generators to then power the exit gate and escape certain death. While the survivors don't have a unique power, they are forced to work together to be successful. Survivors can heal and rescue each other, distract the killer, and finally complete generators to escape from the game. There are exceptions to this rule, such as finding a hatch, plundering chests, or being a lone wolf. Mainly though, a survivor will be doing one of these three things to contribute to escaping. At the end of each game, players will be rewarded based off of their performance with the currency known as blood points in game. These can be used to unlock killer perks and add-ons for either survivor or killer. This adds a sense of progression, as you can unlock unique perks called teachables that can be shared among different survivors or killers. The game also has another currency known as iridescent shards. These serve a couple of purposes. With them you can unlock some characters, some cosmetics, and it is used in the shrine exclusively. Finally, you have Auric cells which can only be purchased with money. These can be used to unlock characters and cosmetics. Now, let's talk about the strengths of DBD. The game is unique in its killers, map design, perks, and add-ons. It offers players a very large learning curve that is both interesting and compelling. There's a lot of flavor text and lore. The store is an amazing thing for Dead by Daylight, and there's always fresh content that's coming. Let's jump a little more into depth. As I've said before, the killers have a ton of different unique powers. These, alongside their add-ons, really contribute to making no game the same. Every game you join in will have a different map, different level design, since there's parts that are randomly generated, from the walls to generator spawns, totems, you get the point. This supports my next point about how there's a big learning curve in the game. To truly master the game, it's imperative that you play both killer and survivor. Each will teach you the gameplay mechanics of the game. You'll learn about perks, items, and even survivor or killer habits. It's important to learn totem spawns, for example. That way you can find out where those hex perks are hidden. Overall, the game will keep you coming back to learn more and more about the game. Now, let's talk lore. There's a ton of it. Each survivor and killer has a unique backstory. Even the maps have lore. You can find a ton of it on the DBD website, or visit the dev stream to ask them direct questions about it. There's so much to learn about. If you haven't noticed, there's a ton of flavor text on add-ons, offerings, and perks. While I know this is a bit of a normie thing to like, one of my favorite flavor texts is a heavily salted pudding. Or, you mad? That's a Fang Min perk. It's time to talk about the store. The store is an amazing thing because it offers you the ability to unlock tons of things for free. Yes, you heard me right. While you can't unlock everything for free, there's still quite a selection on what you can acquire. Even for some of the characters that you cannot unlock without paying for, you can still acquire their perks via Shrine of Secrets. I've acquired numerous perks without even owning a character thanks to this. As of right now too, expansions for the game just keep coming out. I can't remember the roadmap they set out, but there's always going to be new content to keep the game fresh. One thing that keeps me coming back to the game is the community and the numerous hours that I've spent meeting new people and just screwing around with killers. When you play with a squad for the first time, or for the 100th, you'll honestly just have a blast. I know I have, and I always love to queue up with viewers or just new people when I have a chance. Overall, the game has a lot of diverse content ranging to different maps, different playstyles, cosmetics, perks, add-ons, and there's new content coming. For what the game does best, it really shows. Now, let's cover some of the issues that I have with the game. Firstly, there's definitely some balancing issues that need to be addressed. Then, we have hitboxes, which can be pretty whack sometimes. One other thing I've noticed is that there's a lack of incentive to play at higher levels. And finally, we're going to touch on loading screens in dedicated servers. So, balancing. Let's just start by saying that some of the killers and their builds are pretty busted. Personally, I'm all for counterplay on both Survivor and Killer, but there are some builds which you literally just can't play around. More in specific, if you're facing off against a good nurse, there's no way you're gonna win. You really can't outplay a killer who can blink over obstacles and can travel the map in a literal second with their right build. Billy, for example, is someone who can easily one-shot and travel the map, and don't get me started on his hitbox. In terms of build right now, Frank's mixtape, insta-down hatchets, these just feel so strong that it's super hard to play against. Now, let's talk hitboxes. Hitboxes, at least for me, can sometimes be really bad. There's nothing worse than slamming down a pallet on a killer and having them hit you through it as though the pallet didn't do anything. Huntress's hatchets, which honestly have the worst hitboxes in the game, can be a gamble. Sometimes they hit, or sometimes they miss. It's just a 50-50, and whichever end of the stick you're on, well, best of luck. This can also be applied to the servers with DVD at the moment, which has you connect to the killer's lobby. So the killer essentially has priority over the connection. Dedicated servers are coming, but they aren't going to be here for a while. What this means is that you can run into cheaters who essentially leg switch, which pretty much means that they can walk up to you and kill you, and you're just stuck in place, not able to move, nothing. At lower ranks, you're not really going to run into this, but when I was around rank 5, I ran into this so often. This brings me to my next point, which is loading screens. Yes, what could be so bad about a loading screen? Well, when your game constantly freezes and doesn't let you or a teammate into a game, that's when there's a bit of a problem. I play this game primarily on PC, so I'm not sure how it affects consoles, but this is a problem that I run into every 4 to 10 games. Once or twice really isn't a big deal if it happens, but when it happens all the time, and not just to you, that's when there's a bit of a problem. Finally, for my last point, we have lack of incentive. What do I mean by this? Well, every season you can rank up. It's a lot of effort for no reward. Reaching rank 1 only gets you 2 things. 1, an achievement, and 2, bragging rights. I feel like if they offered any season reward whatsoever, it would honestly motivate people to play for rank much more. Imagine if they had a cosmetic that upon unlocking at the end of the season had a different color based off of the rank you got. It doesn't have to be much, but I feel it would add a much needed breadth for veteran players of the game. And lastly, devotion needs to be fixed up a little bit. Again, you get no extra rewards upon reaching the cap other than a number to brag about. And finally, I give Dead by Daylight a score of 4 out of 5. If you are contemplating on whether or not to get this game, I would highly recommend that you do. The fact that there's always new content brings the game more experiences and fun. The bugs, while sometimes can be funny, does take away from the game experience, especially when you can't load into a game. And really, the only other thing that I think is missing from the game is progression-based awards, whether it be rank or devotion, that reward you for playing more. This is more of a thing for veteran players, as I said before, but to end with a positive, I think that the uniqueness of a survival-based horror being a multiplayer game is really just astounding. It has so much going for it, especially with the amount of fun and unique builds that you can play. Survival with friends also really brings the game together. What is going on? What?
Where are those dedicated servers?
What the?
at?
What?
What the fuck?
Dude.
Fuck. Get him. Okay, well, I'm gonna crawl to the hatch. Fuck's sake!
Oh my god, am I gonna make it?
Come on, you can make it, leave!
Oh!
Yes!
Yes! That was so close.
I didn't get the creepy flashlight, but it was worth it.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
Well, I'm not in there now. Is he in there?
That's me. Oh, she
Oh,
knew.
did she know?
If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. More content like this is coming, and I'm going to do my best to make as much high quality content like this as possible. Thanks again, guys. Peace.